Bro Musk is a very, very bitter man. And he's not going to just go away. Myself and all of us are all consumed with one of the most remarkable, man, I think one of the most remarkable stories in the history of the U.S. presidency, U.S. politics, with the entire Elon Musk brouhaha. And he and Trump are now, of course, predictably fighting with each other. And we're going to have a good time. I mean, we're all going to watch Saturday Night Live. We're going to be looking for the Sunday morning talk shows, the Gab Fest. We're going to be going to our favorite sites, and everybody's going to have commentary on this and how historically it is. And it's a lot of fun. I got to admit it. This is some fun shit here, man. And just a little history here. When all of this started and Trump was elected, yours truly said, just lay back and let them collapse under their own weight. That these were incompetent, stupid, greedy people, and there was no chance of the seat. Of course, I had the whole pom-pom call. Fight, fight, fight. We did this. Of course, it's all is the air. It meant nothing. It meant nothing. And lo and behold, the whole thing is collapsing under its own weight. And it's collapsing under its own weight because of its own. It didn't collapse because of, hey, fight them. We're not going to sit there back and do nothing. We're going to do this. Okay, great. You had your fun, and you did a lot of solicitation on the computer, and you got a lot of $5 checks and that kind of shit. And honestly, you didn't do any good at all. But they've collapsed. And now we want to laugh and giggle and see this. This is much, listen to me for a second. What just happened and the ramifications of this are profoundly serious for the United States. And there are two people that will recognize this, and you will recognize the two names that I'm getting ready to give you. And let's just say we like to give examples from both sides. You know, these both siders, okay? Elizabeth Warren and Steve Bannon. And you said, James, Elizabeth Warren and Steve Bannon, I can think of two people that are more unlike if I tried. Okay, agreed. Since Warren, by the way, probably the highest IQ of any three people who serve in the United States Senate, I don't know, last 75 years, it issued a 130 page report about all of the stuff that transpired and the corruption under Musk, et cetera, et cetera. Let me tell you, it's a very serious document. It's very thoughtful together. Bannon, who, all right, he's not, to say the least, my cup of tea, but I'm pretty clear that he's smarter than all the rest of them put together. And he was a Harvard graduate. He was a naval officer. And he points out that the national security ramifications of this are gigantic. So I know we're laughing, so just stop laughing for a second and think about this. We bring in a person that has global corporation that is totally reliant on rare earth materials or whatever it is. Well, you read about this shit all the time, and gets a bunch of big balls and who snot nose and booger puller, whatever these people's names are, and they unleash them in the entire federal government. They're taking out files, they're taking out computer disk, or I don't know how the fuck they do it, but they're getting all the information, IRS information, Medicare information, Medicaid information, Veterans Administration. They have that information. Musk, of course, the Secretary of Defense is, to put it mildly and factually and not to be too mean about it, is a goddamn drunk. All right? So Musk is into sec death. That's what they, when you want to be a kind of important guy in Washington, you talk about sec death. Oh yeah, okay. He's in sec death's office, according to press reports, is receiving China briefings. Mm. So here's a guy that has huge business, hugely reliant on the Chinese government for supplies, hugely reliant on China for access for his, like any business person. And he has all of this sensitive information. And most of you are probably a lot like me. You like kind of spy novels. Backstreet Prague and guys passing something around in Munich, the outside of Red Square. And I don't know. Okay, you read that shit 1,000 times. And the way they recruit people, they look for someone that's bitter. Bro Musk is a very, very bitter man. And he's not going to just go away. And he has really, really, really sensitive information, personal information on American citizens, unbelievably sensitive and important information on American foreign affairs, on the security of the United States, on the security of the Western world, security of everything you can, security of the Ukrainians. And whatever we do, go ahead, get a good laugh, because you need to laugh, because there's not much to laugh about. And this shit is really something to laugh about. But give yourself about 3 minutes to laugh, and then say, I want to find out what's behind this. I want to find out how much the interests of our country has been compromised. I want to find out how much was stolen, how much was traded, how much was passed back and forth. And understand, we, the Democrats, ooh, let's get excited. We don't have any power. There's only people, we got to put pressure on. The only people that can do this and get to the bottom of this right now are Republicans. And we have to be very clear that if you don't, then we will get to the bottom of this. We will, and we will take seriously what Senator Elizabeth Warren, D. Massachusetts, has to say. We will take seriously what Steve Bannon, D. R. Cro-Magnon, has to say. And we will make a report to the American people how our security was breached, how the possibility, okay, somebody committed a crime, but I got to tell you, I think we need to assure people that if there were crimes committed, that they're turned over to the proper authorities to deal with in the judicial system that we have, and that this is flushed out. But what I'm saying to you as citizens, as people that care about the United States, don't laugh and move on. You got to get a giggle. Shit, this okay. I'm not gonna blame you for going out and just of course, who would have ever thought this would end up like this? So you take the richest person in the world and the biggest ego in the world, and you put him in a circular room, and you ask yourself, how is this going to last? Of course, that's the right question. Of course, it is yours truly and other people like myself said, give it time, it will collapse. It actually collapsed even sooner than I thought. And Democrats had nothing to do with bringing this debacle down. But now we can come in and say, look, this happened. We want to work, like, let's, do it. They all kind of like that. Let's work together and make a real assessment on the damage to national security. And how did we let a bunch of unvetted people rummage through the government, scaring the hell out of 20-year federal employees have dedicated their entire life to the United States. How much material do they have? What do they know? Where is this material now? Is it being bartered somewhere? Is it on the open market? I don't know. And you don't either. But I do know this. You are entitled to an answer. And you have to demand, we want to know how this happened, what happened, where are we now, what are the consequences of this? And by the way, it's the most legitimate congressional investigation you have, because the Congress has to write laws to find out what happened so they can properly guard ourselves against this. But this is a matter of patriotism. This is a matter of protecting the future of our country, the future of the entire Western alliance, future of our allies. And we don't just have Western allies, we got the allies like South Korea and Japan, and Vietnam, and Australia, and Thailand, and New Zealand. Shit, I don't know. I can rattle off more countries off the top of my head that are dependent. We don't know how much their own security has been compromised. We don't know how much money we need to find out. And we need to be very, very clear. Now, when I said rope-a-dope, what people tend to forget is you rope-a-dope for the first 6 rounds. Why don't you go look at what happened in the rumble in the jungle? The rope-a-dope stopped and the blows started landing. Okay, we're out of the bob and weave phase, which was very effective, by the way. That punched out. I don't know where they are. They're totally discombobulated, disorganized, everything else. And now we come in and we're asking, we don't have power. The only power we have is the power to ask questions. We have multitudinous questions to answer. As you view this video, you may think of some yourself, post them on the comments. I'm open to anything, but my mind can't stop racing as to what all the consequences of this could possibly be. And when you think about it, they are more profound than we can imagine, but we have to get to the bottom of this. We have to be very determined to get to the bottom of this. It's now time. We've now measured it up. We bobbed and weaved. We know exactly where their chin is. Okay? Then we're going to throw a combo. Boom, boom. The rope-a-dope phase has worked, and now we're going to close. And they don't have an answer. Let all of the pontifical, the Democrats are about 26%, or the Democratic Party is in more trouble than it's ever been, and woe be America, and we are the pontifical class, and oh God, it just made me want to throw up with all this shit. Be serious. You have questions. It's okay. Go crack your jokes. I'll crack a couple myself. And then let's get about the serious business of protecting the United States of America. And that's where we are. And let all these goddamn idiots and handicappers and sharpies and braille birds, everything else, let them talk about that. Let us talk about the severe damage that was probably, and in my opinion, very likely done to the country. We have to put together, we need to listen to Senator Warren. It's not very often you get somebody with like 193 IQ. We need to listen to Steve Bannon. Sometimes a blind squirrel finds an acorn every now and then, right? And I think that these two really smart people, two really different people, two fundamentally different people that have arrived at the same conclusion. We need to look into this. We need to make this an issue. We should not let it go away. We need to get to the bottom. This is highly, highly critical to the future of our country. We're going to be commenting more on this. I'm looking forward to your comments, your involvement, you giving support and courage and backbone to call people to come out this. I know you're frustrated. I know that you've wanted to be in this fight before, but now the floodgates are open. The bell is rung. It's the seventh round. Let's find out what happened. And when we do, we're going to find out a lot. It's going to be a forum on which Sanitic is going to return to American politics. I really, really believe this. Thank you.